Jumping out the whip, shit cold. Watching my step gram froze. Most my days spent alone. Same with my bro, he knows. Ay, gotta pay dues. Walking in mud, you can check my.
Holidays are coming round now. Winter is here, my favorite time of the year. I could get close to my dear, my baby. I could feel the breeze coming through. I could see me and you cuddled up underneath the mistletoe. Anything that you want, just let me know and we can go high as the moon, high as the skies above. I swear it won't take long for you to come around and fall in love. This fog is way too thick, I can't even see it. Cuddle up, put it in the air.
I am watching the rest of The Last Holiday with Queen Latifah. I absolutely love her. I just love all her movies. You know what I haven't tuned into though? There is one movie that dropped on Netflix around, I guess, Halloween or so, and it's her and Marlon Wayans. It's supposed to be like a comedy horror type movie. I have not tuned into that yet. It's on Netflix, and I also haven't really tuned in. Like, I've seen a couple of episodes of what's the show that she do now? Hey, what is the name of the daggone show? It's the movie with Denzel Washington. But now it's on. Now she plays him, but on TV. Girl, what is the name of that show? I can't even think of it off the top of my head, child. Oh my goodness. What is it? You guys will probably know what I'm talking about. It's the movie. Okay, so the first one, you know, he saved the girl, or he go after the people that, you know, put the girl in the hospital or whatever, that he met in the cafe, because she was like working for them. Dang, I feel like it'll come to me as I'm talking about the movie. So that was that one. And then remember in the second one, you know, he stayed in the apartment and he had developed somewhat of a relationship with the young man that also lived in the apartment, and he painted the wall. The Equalizer. Boom. That's it. Okay. So y'all know there's an Equalizer TV show, and she plays like the character Denzel played in the movie Equalizer, right? So I haven't tuned into that just yet. And it's been on TV for a little bit. But she's one of my favorite actresses. And has been for a while. I used to love her music too back in the day. I had her, what CD that was? It was a song on there that it was kind of corny, but I love it still. What's the song? Bananas. Something like that. Order in the Court or something like that. But anyway, I used to have that CD back in the day when they made CDs. Girl, do they even still sell CDs anymore? Like, can you go into Walmart and Target in the music section and see CDs, or is everything just basically one, like, digital?
Hey, that T-Wine girl, don't need to read your mind, I can see the signs, girl. Hey, if love is blind, girl, body like Braille, let me read between the lines, girl. Down like loose change, let's try new things. Way you shake your body, give me mood swings. Running through my mind, she go Usain. Got me thinking about giving her my last name.
The way you're moving, oh, my baby, they drive me crazy, oh, so crazy, oh, about you, my baby, oh, that's how I really feel. Be like, say, I wanna just rock your body, rock your body, rock your body. Be like, say, like you might hurt somebody, hurt somebody, hurt somebody. Not trying a little, hey, flex on the beat. When it's high, we just turn up the heat. Bring your body here right next to me. You look like the perfect man. This could be the perfect dance. So come on, go ahead and just flex on the beat.
Hey y'all, me from the future. So I am working on this video that you guys are looking at, and it's pretty much just me cleaning off my desk. I didn't have too much to add to it, so I wanted to end the video by answering a few questions that I saw in my comments under my last work vlog video, since it's all kind of related, right? So first question is from Tracy's Golden Life. Thank you so much for watching and visiting the channel. I appreciate your support. And she left a comment and she says, I have a question. I see that you are looking on 2 screens. What type of information should be on each screen? Now, that is going to vary amongst the clients. So for me, I service one of the cruise clients on the platform. So on screen number 1, I always have, which is my screen right here on my left hand side, I always have my cruise booking system and my Avaya telephone. So that is always pulled up on that screen. On the second screen is where I have all of my resources. So I have my department phone list pulled up. I have my cruise, I like to call it a cruise encyclopedia. That's where we go, and it has like different articles on different topics. So if I wanted to know how to book a special dining reservation for somebody, I can go in there and look up how to do that. If I wanted to know how to extend somebody's future cruise credit, I can go in and learn how to, go to the article that tells me how to do that, right? If I'm looking for, like, for example, a new COVID testing policy that just might have come or been updated, I go in there and I look at the return of service article for that to look at all the new testing policies, right? So it's basically like a cruise encyclopedia for me. Now it's going to be different for every client. You're going to have your various resources that you're going to want to have pulled up as you're servicing. You're definitely going to want to be logged into your chat room. So that is the other thing that I always have pulled up every time that I service. You have to be logged in. It's a requirement. So that is always pulled up on that screen, and everything is pretty much pulled up on like a separate tab. So my cruise encyclopedia is one tab, and then there's a few things inside that encyclopedia that I can pop open to an Excel spreadsheet or like a PDF. So I'll go ahead and pop those open, and there'll be a separate tab in its own. If I need to get into like a customer's account to help them book shore excursions or something like that, there is a link that pops open a new tab for just strictly that. So there's different things that are pulled up on my second screen. So that's why I always recommend you guys to have 2 monitors, because I'm telling you, I've been servicing on this platform for a long time, and this is the 3rd client that I've serviced, and it was always beneficial to me to have 2 screens. I've never had a situation where I could only work on 1 screen. When I first got on the platform, my very first certification course, I did have just 1 laptop for about halfway through my certification course, right? And I realized, no, I need a second screen. And that's when I hooked up the second screen. And it's been wonderful. It's y'all, it's been a lifesaver since then. So if you're working on this platform or any other work from home platform, because Arise is not the only one, you guys. This is just the one that I'm the most familiar with. But any work from home opportunity, business opportunity, whatever it is, you will benefit from having 2 monitors. Even if you're not necessarily working from home, let's say you are an aspiring content creator here on YouTube. I mean, 1 monitor is great, 1 computer is great, even using your phone, all that stuff is great. But I'm telling y'all, there's nothing more than being able to sit down and have another computer that can kind of take, not another computer, but another monitor that can kind of take on the load of all of the stuff that you're looking at. You're able to kind of spread it out a little bit more to see, what you're doing, versus having to move stuff out the way or make it small, make it big, all that type of stuff, or close it out, open something back up. Like, you'll have everything on 1 screen. So I always recommend that. Next question is, it's LaShanti. Yeah, it's Lashanti. So she says, I always wanted to ask you, how do you get paid from working at home? So basically it's a contracting business opportunity position, right? So you're a general contractor, and whatever you service, whatever services you provide, you're generally paid for those services, right? Except there's one exception to this, right? The exception to this is if you're servicing intervals that you did not, if you're working intervals that you did not schedule in the scheduling system, right? If you're just working to be working, then that's really all it is. You're just going to be working to be working, right? You're not going to get paid for that. But for the most part, whatever service you provide, so let's say I jump on the phones from 2 to 3, right? If I've been logged in that whole time, didn't have any technical issues, didn't have to go to tech support or nothing like that, then I'm going to get paid for that time that I spent in servicing calls. So because I'm my own IBO, my funds go into the business bank account just like all my other agents, and I get paid the same way that my agents get paid, right? I issue payroll not only to them, but to myself as well. So that's pretty much how that works. It's paid by 30-minute. You're paid by interval time. So intervals are 30-minute increments. I like to say an hour because most people work a straight hour through, right? So you just say by the hour. But yeah, so that's how I get paid on the platform. I'm just like a regular agent, just like all my other agents. The only difference with me and them is I'm my own IBO, and with them, I'm their IBO. So I'm basically paying myself, and then I am distributing their funds to them as their IBO, right? I hope that makes sense. Let me see. Okay, so Khalid Adekuno. Oh my gosh, I hate butchering people's name because I know how that feels in real life. So I am so sorry if I'm mispronouncing this name. But he says, hey Chanina, been watching you for a minute now. Thanks for all the information you share. Love and light to you. Thank you. And thank you for watching the channel and giving some support. Are the remote jobs limited to just people in the U.S.? Is it possible for folks outside the U.S. to service a set of clients you service? Yes. So yes and no. Okay, so the remote jobs. Okay, so here's. Okay, because I know I just made a video about. Actually, it's that video. Can you work anywhere in the U.S.? So you can't work anywhere in the U.S. However, this business opportunity is not just restricted to the U.S. If you're in the UK or Canada, you can work on the platform in those areas, right? You just have to, when you go to the platform, you just have to make sure that you're clicking on either UK or Canada when you're registering. Otherwise, I believe it's just a default to the US, right? If you don't change that, then when you register, it is going to tell you that you can't register from where you are. So I do have, if you're in Canada, I do have, I have to go back through my files, but I believe I do have a list of IBOs that are in Canada that have virtual call centers. I'll be more than happy to share that list with you guys if you are looking for an IBO in Canada. For the UK, honestly, I don't have an IBO list for that. But that gives me something to research, so I would definitely try to get some research done on that, and hopefully I'll have some different information regarding that in the beginning of 2023. But for now, it's not limited to just people in the US. There are some states, there's about 8 states in the US that you are not allowed to service the platform from if you live in those particular states. However, you can service if you're in the UK, and you can service the platform if you're in Canada. You just have to make sure that when you go onto the website, if it's already if the default setting is already set to the US, you will have to change it to either the UK or Canada, right? So you gotta make sure you do that. Otherwise, it's going to tell you that you can't register. Let me see if I have another question. I do. So this is from Porcelain Doll. And so she commented this under a video where a long time ago when I was talking about passing or different ways to pass certification, right? Or get through certification. That's a better way to say that. So anyway, so her question is, and thank you so much for watching the channel. Her question is, can you change positions if you're already enrolled? So I'm not really sure what you mean by change positions. If you're meaning, if you're doing customer service for a client, can you switch over to sales? You can. The only thing is you would have to basically drop the client that you're doing, drop that department, to do the other department, right? Unless it allows you to do both. There's some clients that may allow you to do both departments, right? And you would have to go through the certification course all over again for that particular department. So I don't know if that's how you're meaning it, or if you're meaning if you're enrolled in the certification and you decide that you don't want to do it anymore, can you drop it and change? Yes, you can. Okay, it's better at this point, the way the platform is now. If you enroll into a certification class and you realize before the class actually starts that you're no longer interested, or there's some time constraints or something like that, it's better to drop the class prior to actually going to class, because what happens is if you don't show up for the first day, then you incur a no-show fee, right? So to avoid that fee, you just drop the class before it even starts. So you are able to do that. Another thing that I want to add to that too is, in case you were wondering, are you able to service more than one client? Yes, you can. You can service more than one client. Agents do it all the time. I haven't done it because I'm just, girl, that just sounds like too much going on. But people do it all the time. You can service more than one client. The only thing you cannot do is take 2 certification classes at the same time, right? That's the only thing you can't do. So you'll have to do one, go through the certification, go through that process, and then as you're doing certification for that, if you're about to be done with that, and the other certification class that you want to do does not start on any day that you're already in certification. So let's say you're out of certification December 25th, but and you're good to go on that, you're taking calls, everything is great, right? But your new certification class for a different client maybe starts December 28th or something like that, right? As long as you're not still in certification class, okay, you're able to do that. So because you don't want to, there's sometimes with the times that the classes are given, there can be a conflict with timing, right? So I hope I was able to answer those questions. Let me see. Okay, so here's one more. This is Miss Amani Taylor. Okay, so is there a way we can do early shifts or midnight shifts with Arise? Yes, it depends on the client. Let me tell y'all this. There's one particular client that I recommend to people because of it has the most flexibility. The roadside assistance clients. It's perfect for anybody who needs to be able to work any time of day, even if they need to work overnight, right? I have an agent right now who works overnight. So for that particular client. And then I have another agent who works, different times throughout the day. So that one I always recommend for people if they need a little bit more flexibility, because there are some clients, such as like the one that I'm servicing, where they close at a certain time during the night, right? And then there's no more servicing intervals after that because they're closed. Whereas there's other clients, like I said, the roadside client, right? If you're looking for something where you can work midnight shift, or late night shift, or early morning shift, that would be the client to go with, because it's 24 hours. It's roadside assistance. So like AAA, it's 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. They are open and operating. So I would recommend that for those that are curious about, you know, what client they can service at midnight or whatever. You know, the non-traditional hours, right? The midnight shift or the graveyard shifts, that sort of thing. It is the roadside assistance client. So, anywho, I'm done answering those questions. I hope they were helpful. I think we answered about 4 or 5 questions. I lost count, but they were some good questions, and I've always got new viewers to the channel who may be curious. So I'm glad you guys are interacting with me in the comments and asking questions. And yeah, thank you so much for your support. So you guys go ahead, and if you like the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It helps the channel. Leave a comment down below, say hello, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye.